Alright, welcome back to another segment of The Wandering Eye. Today's segment is going to be about being able to use a better slogan or a mantra for this movement that we have going on. So, the main thing that's been being said since the Eric Gardner death is the I can't breathe. Now it's I still can't breathe. And we're marching that around on signs and campaigning this I can't breathe, I still can't breathe message, and that does nothing for us. That literally has no power within it. That's the phrase from a man who was taking his last breaths. That's a phrase that doesn't equate strength. It equates the agony that he was going through. That doesn't galvanize us to really fight and combat the enemy. That phrase, I can't breathe and I still can't breathe, is just what the enemy wants you to be saying. He wants you to feel like you can't survive around him. This is bigger than just what's going on, you know what I mean? This has been going on for thousands of years. We need to be able to come back with something that's strong and powerful, that galvanizes us, that unites us in a way that we could go into battle against these people. You wouldn't go into battle and your slogan would be, you can't breathe. That's not a war cry. That's not a war mantra. There's never been a time where, even in sports, that you would use something that's not powerful to motivate you up and to do something. I can understand the sentiment behind it, and it's important to get that point out, you know what I mean? But the fact that we're trying to march this around and campaign it like this is something of strength, it's not gonna work. This is exactly how they want you to feel. They want you to feel inferior to them. They want you to feel like we can't do anything about it. By you saying that you can't breathe and you still can't breathe, it's almost like a submission. It's like we're not trying to rise up out of that. For example, if we use, for example, the phrase Black Power. Black Power has strength behind it because it's not only a power as a people, but it's power in every avenue that you have, whether that be owning businesses, owning land, creating generational wealth. You know, that's something that you could be proud of. Being proud and being black is something that needs to be instilled into every young melanated child from the time they, you know what I'm saying, can start understanding affirmations being passed on to them. It's important that we get that positive reinforcement behind us so we can grow up, and that fire will only strengthen us in order to create real change in the system. But if we keep coming at like, I can't breathe and they're killing us, like, that's obvious. That's not, by me seeing that doesn't get me up like, okay, boom, we can't breathe. That's not a mantra that is needed for that. We're in war right now. There's no other way to put it. We're in a war. This is going to define the next 50 to 100 years, I believe. And we need real systematic change, and we need to really galvanize our people. And we need to start coming out with phrases that ignite us. And we need to start coming out with things that will put a fire into the people that scares the enemy. All of our slogans don't scare the enemy. Saying Black Lives Matter, that's an obvious statement. That doesn't do anything. And by us stating Black Lives Matter, and I'm not equating this to the organization because the organization is not for us. It's founded by Soros and it has funding by all type of crazy stuff that I'm not getting into this video. I might get into it until the next video, but just stating Black Lives Matter is just an obvious statement that doesn't do anything for us. And by stating that leaves the avenue for people to be like, well, all lives matter, blue lives matter, green lives matter. You know what I'm saying? So like, that phrase opens up a door for the enemy to hop right in and combat that. Now, if we say Black Power, I find it hard pressed for them to publicly come out with the white power counterpart to that argument, because they understand the optics behind it. So the optics are, we say this, that's getting equated to KKK, white supremacy, Nazi Germany. You know what I mean? That isn't a message that can be spread without immediate consequence and immediate devastating action behind that. Like, we need to have phrases and slogans to where if they come back with something like that, it's gonna be a wrap for them. By them saying, oh, all lives matter, that's still a pillow cushion, and that just creates arguments. Like, we're just arguing back and forth and it doesn't do anything. Like, and it's frustrating. But it is time for us now to change the speed, change what we're doing, stop stating the obvious, right? So that's pretty much my message for this one. It's just a quick message. I never intended these videos to be intentionally too long. It's just something quick and thought provoking, but it's something serious that we need to talk about, and we need to get over this phase or mindset that we're in as melanated people on this planet, where it's like we're okay with, you know what I mean, not having that fire lit and burning. It might look like it's lit and burning, but it's really not, because at the end of the day, if a war started right now, how many would really be ready for that? Now it's like all this stuff has been hijacked by a whole bunch of different other issues, a whole bunch of different other causes. And that's cool and all if that's separate from what the outcry is trying to be. Like the past like couple of days, maybe a week or so, I haven't really even seen anything about police brutality and injustices. Now we've had the lynchings. I think it's up to like 5 lynchings now, and now they're trying to call suicides, but we know black people is not hanging themselves from trees. That's just a fact. That's not happening. They're lynching us. They're trying to ignite this war. They're trying to speed it up because it's important for them to divide us as much as possible, because it's a part of their agenda play. You know what I mean? It's a part of their scheme that they're trying to do. So of course people are gonna start popping up dead left and right. It's just gonna ignite us even more. The anger is gonna grow even deeper, and they want to test us to see how we're gonna react to that. But are we really ready for a war? You know what I mean? That's the real question. It's time for us to really have to take that look within and feel as if we need to do more. I don't think that it's in everybody to really want to do more. I feel like now it's become a social media fad. It's become a social media trend. It's become a social media wave. And now you got all these people doing this stuff just so they can post it on a social media platform and say that they was involved in something. And all you're doing is going along with the status quo. And I feel like it's time that we change that. It's time we get organized. It's time we strategize. And it's time we come with slogans or mantras, whatever you want to call it, that ignite us into battle. There was no slave rebellion that occurred where the person who was leading, or the people who were leading the rebellion, ever said, we're still getting beat, we're still getting hung, we're still getting castrated, we're still getting raped. Like, that's not a battle cry that you go into war with. Like, we need something that's really gonna be like, get us up off these seats and really, you know what I'm saying, do something, because that's what we need. We need to do something. We need to stop feeling like we're inferior, because I feel like, to be honest, throughout all the stuff that's happening, black people still be feeling like they're inferior. And I feel like that's because we really don't know who we are. We don't have anything to really grasp and cling on to. We might think we know. We might, you know what I'm saying, try to do A, B, and C. I'm not really gonna touch into that because I can get off topic and go into a whole thing. So I might make that another video actually. So I'm gonna have to make myself a mental note for that one. But yeah, we need something that is gonna make us stop being okay with that. We have to stop being okay with recording our own deaths. We have to stop being okay with just this continuous, like, it's just craziness going on. We can't be okay with that. Like the protesting, all that stuff is cool, but I feel like I said, it's become a social media wave. Now it's time to do something. Like, there's no reason for there to be more videos coming out of police killing us. It makes no sense for you to sit there and record somebody being murdered and not intervene, regardless of the outcome. If I see somebody being detained by police in an aggressive manner, I'm stepping in. I don't care. Like, I'm not letting that go down. And that's because it's touching my soul, it's touching my spirit. I'm not gonna record somebody dying and then afterwards cry about it. What does that do? You stood there and didn't do anything. You could have saved somebody. Half a second, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds could be the difference between whether this person lives or this person dies. And we need to have that type of camaraderie in order to really make change. I feel like we're not willing to die for our brother. We're not willing to die for our sister. We're not willing to die for each other. Back in the day, they was willing to die for each other. They was willing to die for change. Are we really ready to die for change? That's the question you really gotta ask. But with that, I'm gonna conclude this segment. Like, subscribe, comment down below. I'm gonna put all this stuff up on the iSocietyClothing.org website. Check that out. I'll leave the links to the social media platforms down below as well. And catch you on the next video.